I'm on my back at the moment because of an injury to my leg. I have my legs up in the air. There are men and leaders teaching in Christianity everywhere. There are men and leaders teaching in Christianity everywhere. When the teachers and leaders are not firmly encouraging the people to go home and cheerfully admit their faults and their difficult callings from God, if the leaders and the teachers are not telling people to go home and have family honesty times before communion with people who are all willing to die for Jesus now, today, death, beating, abuse, torture, death. If the teachers are not teaching the details that keep people safe from demons, if the teachers are not teaching the things that keep the people safe from their sins, if they don't help the people learn how to constantly purify, I don't want to sit down in the midst of those people, because I should be getting up and saying, when are we going to admit our faults together and have communion? When are we going to admit the spirits, the bad spirits, the demons that are troubling us or our family? The men will be disgraced. Jesus will be disgraced, and the men will be disgraced if they pray and prophesy with their heads covered, with a prayer shawl on their heads. Women will cause the men to be disgraced, and women will cause trouble in the angel battles around the family if they pray or prophesy with their heads uncovered. If the leaders and teachers are not teaching these points of family honesty, of even the men admitting the challenge of handling their body and checking in whether they're having times of peace or difficulty, if the respect for what Jesus taught, Jesus says in Matthew Matthew 18 at the end, teach them to obey all the things that I instructed you, all of my mitzvot. A mitzvah is a treat. All the treats that were given by the Son of God keep us safe and happy as a family. If the leaders and the teachers in a church service are not saying, hey, remember, the men need to uncover their heads and the women need to cover their heads when we are in the intense time of corporate prayer and worship and prophesying. If somebody's not teaching that, then the men are going to be disgraced or troubled, spiritually troubled, and there's going to be troubles in the angelic battles around the family. And if the men are praying, prophesying with their heads covered, that's a dishonor to Christ, as if the veil was not torn, as if the veil of the temple were not torn. Okay, Evander, this is for you. You have not been taught these things because they ain't teaching those things. They ain't teaching those things in churches. Our friend Jim Bracken was freaked out because he wanted more than what was just going on in the church. And he got a breakout program. But now with the internet, We've got to be on top of the whole Jesus program as it was in place for the first 300 years. Sorry to take so long. Evander and friends, heads up. I cannot just pretend that everything's okay when it's not okay. Okay. I would be doing you no favor if I chose to remain silent when I see you doing something disobedient, dangerous, self-destructive, and antichrist. I would not be doing you a favor if I stayed silent when you're causing troubles. That's today's comment.